Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Monday, August 12th, 2024. Let's take a look at the charts. I'm going to start with this daily chart, just sort of recaps what's played out over the last few weeks. We did close below this channel bottom. It was kind of a blurred sell signal at the time. We were opting for other things, as you may recall. But this is a resistance that's climbing. You can see we have it up here in the upper right at 123.23, and it did result in a testing of meaningful support. Still only weekly support, 3-star support between 95 even and 97.40. Now, this may, looking back, turn out to be a good low as we move, potentially through the rest of the year. Because of the NASDAQ 100 Triple Q. I don't have these numbers noted exactly because we have subscribers at wickedstocks.com that actually pay for this information. You could get it as well with the 5-day free trial or to become a subscriber. But what's worth noting is a nearly 5-year channel resistance was tested in early July at the time that the NASDAQ placed this high, which is also, by the way, when the Triple Q was placing its high in June. We came off of it. We had told subscribers you could anticipate the possibility of a 2 to 3 month sell-off to this long-term support region that we hit last week. That took about 4 or 5 weeks to play out, and that also coincided with the low area last week in NVIDIA. So if you're taking a look at the NASDAQ, just by what that index is showing, you could sort of extrapolate the possibility that we may have actually seen a decent low, perhaps through September and maybe the rest of the year. Now, what has played out over the last couple of days was the settlement above this descending 1/3 speed line that today is 101.97. We closed above it on Thursday. It held Friday. Friday was a slightly lower settlement. It is a support that can contain weekly selling pressures, and above which this 121.34 to 123.23 region remains a 2 to 3 week target. With a spike in volatility, we may see this by the end of next week. On the way up today, I do have 109.82. That is a 3/8 upside Fibonacci over the June high against that recent low from last week. It may contain remnant buying pressures for the day. If we push through 109.82, 115.40 is in reach today. 115.40 is this descending channel top over the last month and a half activity. Can contain daily buying pressures. Possibly we could fall away from here into later week. Keep that in mind. 115.40, a respectable day resistance level. But I'm keeping it as a session containment level because I do not want to blur the importance of the low 120s as trend defining resistance over the longer haul. If we can close above 123.23 in the coming week, 2 or 3, make that 121.34. This descending 2/3 speed line. We do have this former channel bottom at 123.23, but I really see as a settlement above this red line as our upward pivot point into the fourth quarter, into later year, and above which I would expect the 150s, 160s in the weeks to follow. But we're not there yet. We may once again look back on the testing of last week of 95 even and 97.40 as what was the low as we rotated up into the 150s, 160s by the end of the year. But in terms of buying on strength, in terms of providing a greater clarity and reliability on anticipating the 150s, 160s, that would come with a settlement above 121.34. So anyway, I'm not going to go back to the Triple Q chart. Let's talk this chart one more time. That if we happen to break, let me just be simple about it. If we close today below 101.97, we should tomorrow retest 95 even and 97.40, where we can place a weekly low, come off of here again, and over the following 2 to 3 weeks, rally into the 121.34 region, descending 2/3 speed line. If we open lower on the day, certainly if we open below 101.97, we could test 94. Now, see, I have 94.40 here, 97.40. Let me explain that in a moment. 94.40 is on the weekly chart, and that is this right here. Oh, yeah, that is the rising channel bottom. Now, I'm not crazy about this channel bottom. We actually opened just below it last Monday. We came off of it. I'm not crazy about it because it comes off the October 22 low. which is a significant low for the general market. I mean, you take a look at the NASDAQ, and that is this low right here. That's the October 22 low, a very pronounced low, significant pullback low. But when you look at the NVIDIA chart, it does not look nearly as dramatic. But it is the pullback low, and it was a significant longer-term low. And when you draw a channel off those series of highs against the high that was put out in June, and then project a channel bottom off the low that was put out earlier this year, you have what, 94.40. So I'm rounding down just a bit. I know on the daily chart we've got 95 even, but I'm rounding down to 94.40 as the level that, if settled below, and let's just put it bluntly, at the end of the week, a weekly settlement below 94.40 would signal, once again, I've got 95 even here, I'll let you choose, but if we close below the 94.40, 97.40 region this week, 75.60 becomes our next 1 to 3 week objective. And we could bottom out here and rally back into the 95.74 area, and I've mentioned how this could be kind of a head and shoulders top, potentially. We do, by looking at this weekly chart, there is this sort of hyperbolic move that's played out, this what I call the church steeple rally. These rallies tend to give it all back to the point of origin. I'm not saying NVIDIA is going to give it all back, but we've seen these play out, these bubbles. Is it a bubble? I think there is a bit of a bubble going on. The question is whether it's been punctured fully and now the market can just sort of settle in and perhaps rally off this 95 even and 97.40 area in the weeks and months ahead. But if we close below 95 even, if you want to make that 94.40, that's fine. 1 to 3 weeks down to 75.60. It would be a violation of 75.60 that I would throw in the towel and say, yeah, this thing is going to unwind all the way back to this 41.32 longer term channel top. If you've been a follower of wickedstocks.com, and I think we even put this on our YouTube channel a couple of years ago, well, it wasn't a couple years ago, it was about a year ago, when we had this long-term buy signal, if you remember, above this classic channel top. At that time, we were talking about longer-term bullish continuation. There was an extreme channel extension up in here somewhere, but I mean, we weren't anticipating this. We were anticipating this rally when we cleared the full channel extension, so forth and so on. I'm digressing. So if we close below 75.60, a good high for the year, and we should continue unraveling all the way back into the low 40s, believe it or not. And so the way I would like to frame this now through the rest of the year is you can bottom pick 95, 97.40 in anticipation of the low 120s or higher as we move through the rest of the year. And I think you can sell aggressively a settlement below 75.60 through the rest of the year, then expecting the low 40s. It's about as simple as that. Bullish above 95, bearish below 75.60 as it pertains to the time horizon between now and the end of the year. I'm going to go back to this chart and leave you with this chart. Just once again, we're constructive. It's hard to say bullish right now because we're such a quiet, congested framework for the last week. But yes, having settled above the 1/3 speed line, we are expecting the low 120s now over the next 1 to 3 weeks, depending on volatility. And I'm going to leave it at that. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. Take advantage of that 5-day free trial. You'll get the daily triple Q analysis all week long. You'll get, last week we did Microsoft and DoorDash, and the week before, I forget. But we get 2 stock picks a week as well with that. I'll be back tomorrow with Tuesday's NVIDIA, and you have a great day.